reflections that lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop, and here I am at the table, which you can't see, but it's covered in stuff. Now, these things came into my possession over the last 3 days, basically. I went to one estate sale, one flea market, and you saw my thrifting trip from yesterday. By the way, thank you for your comments. I asked you, should I turn the camera on and off when I want to zoom in on something good, or should I just let it roll? For those of you who responded, most of you said, let it roll. Okay, you asked for it, and that's what I'm going to do. I feel like that would be boring because, I mean, there are some days all I find, is broken fairy lamps and cruddy Tupperware lids with no bottoms. And, but if you want me to let the camera roll, I'll do it. We'll try it and we'll see what happens. So thank you for your input on that. I did ask for it and I appreciate it, I do. Now, I'll try to remember to tell you, I think overall, I paid something shy of $100 for everything that you're gonna see here, and maybe one or two more other things that I don't remember where I put them. And I'll try to remember to tell you whether it either came from the flea market, the yard sale, or the estate sale, but it probably doesn't matter. Let's start with, what are you having a sip of? I'm just drinking ice water right out of the sink. I don't know, I'm crazy that way, I suppose. Sort of in a little Art Deco style tumbler here, which I got at a flea market. I'll tell you more about this tumbler later because it's marked on the bottom. And it's not made by a prominent American, well, it's American made, but not by a Depression glass company. So yeah, I'll tell you more about that later, but here's a sip of ice water. It's warm in here. I live on the 8th floor, which is the top floor of the building, so basically I live in an attic. And I don't feel like opening up the windows or turning on the air conditioner, not yet. Okay, you didn't see this, and I don't know who made it, but I love it. Crystal clear glass. It's a beautiful picture with the ice lip. And it was blown in a mold, and it's got an applied handle. It's nicely done. It has a ribbed optic panel, a ribbed optic effect, a generous ice lip there. We had Easter dinner at my aunt and uncle's house this year, and I don't remember which picture she had, but she said, be careful because that ice lip is horrible, and it was. We spilled water all over the place. But this one, boy, that'll really catch the ice. Crystal, it's probably 1930s or 40s. It has that Depression era feel to it. You didn't see that. Here's another picture you didn't see. This is also glass. Now that one is a better made. This is better glass than this one. This is nicely done. This might be a Hazel Atlas picture. They're not always marked. And I think I've seen these smaller than this in milk glass. I'm trying to hold it still for you. It has a nice square handle. This is a nice little one for luncheon or a breakfast table. And then a sewing box made of Bakelite, sort of a maroon color Bakelite. This was made in Pennsylvania. It's this red maroonish Bakelite with the embossed, is that a floral design on the top? Where am I? I guess it is. It's something like that. Now I happen to know that it's missing an insert. There was a circular insert that sat down in there that would hold other bits and pieces of sewing notions, and that insert is gone. But you certainly could, we could do all kinds of things with that. Use it as a sewing box. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily serve macaroni and cheese out of it, but it probably dates to the 1940s. here, let me get this out of my way so I can not knock it over. Here's this wonderful, is it Bavarian? I don't remember. Yes, I think so. It's this wonderful lemon reamer, which would have gone with a tea service. This is a peripheral, you know, sort of an extra piece that you could have gotten, and I would like you to see it, but here we go. It's porcelain, and here's the reamer for the lemons. You get just enough to pour out into your tea. It's gilded and hand painted on both sides. Marked Bavaria underneath. Probably made in the first 30 years of the 20th century. With the porcelain reamer on the top. And there's no damage on it. Completely damage free for delicate, very good German porcelain. That'll make a statement at your next tea party. If you have tea parties and would like to make a statement. All right. Okay. Made in Japan in the 1930s. We're all familiar with this. Well, there was the cottage ware, which this is not. This is the basket weave ware. It's very inexpensive, low-fired, almost earthenware pottery or ceramic. And it was, you could get anything for the kitchen. Spice jars and oatmeal canisters and range sets, all kinds of shakers, and even plates and teacups and saucers and everything. So why did I buy these? I bought one underplate with staining and crazing but no chips. And I bought this small pitcher, which probably was used on the breakfast table. Why did I buy these two? Because I think that makes a perfect planter. I think you could repurpose this and use it in a sort of vintage 1930s kitchen or anywhere. And wouldn't that look nice with a small little kitchen plant in there? I think it would, because I don't know that anybody's really going to want to use this for what it was intended for, the way that it was intended. But I think a plant would look nice in it. So that's the reason why. I got that. Now, don't drop it. All right. Now, let's stick with Japan. In the 1930s, when we were friendly with them before they dropped the bomb on us. That was a long time ago. But anyway, I wasn't going to get this, and it has really grown on me. It almost has like a tin Majolica glaze to it, mimicking Jasperware, but with a very highly glazed, very shiny glaze, like a tin glaze. And so we have this wonderful, very generous relief here, and all kinds of things are going on. I guess we've got cherubs and putti. Do we have wings? Okay, we have wings. That means we got some cherubs. And with a basket of flowers. And then over here, there's a bunch of them doing their little cherub type thing. You see that? In this vase. And just mark Japan on the bottom. It's just an embossed stamp there, which is hard to see. Yeah, so I paid $5 for it, and there are no chips or cracks in it. I think it's very attractive. Don't you? I was going to put it up there, but we'll skip that. Be great if there were two, you know, on either side of a mantle or something like that. 1930s. Japan, 1930s as well, is this sandwich tray, what they usually called sandwich trays in those days, and we say tidbit trays today. We already talked about this chintz pattern in this wonderful Czechoslovakian plates, porcelain plates, made in Czechoslovakia. And I do know that you can go out and get this hardware and make these today, but the hardware of today is not the same as the hardware from 1930, and this was definitely done and sold in the 30s. Tidbit trays and sandwich trays such as this were popular in those days, and the hardware is just different, the old versus the new. There are just several ways that you can tell, and so I believe this was manufactured this way, and not that someone came along and got the plates and drilled them and actually turned it into a sandwich tray. Not that it makes any difference, right? Not really. But I did talk about that, I think, in the last video, a little bit. And then I know this came from the flea market. I was digging around. Oh, this person had junk. And then I got deep down inside of a box and look at what I found. What is that? What is it? It's a 1930s made in Japan cigarette holder. Now you wouldn't jam a pack of cigarettes in there, you would stick individual cigarettes in there, and then you could just pick them out while you're playing bridge or whatnot. So very cheaply made. I mean, you can tell, I mean, my goodness, she even looks like she's got false teeth. Very inexpensive, as were those Japanese items, sold at a dime store for probably 39 cents, 29 cents, something like that. But we love, there are collectors who just love all this little cute little Japan 1930s items. I do too. And what would you stick down there? It's too small for today's cell phones, but and I don't even think a remote control would fit down in there, but you could do something with that. I like it. That was $1 at the flea market. I do know that. This was $1 at the flea market as well. And I've had this before in a different color scheme. Don't know who made it? It's a little Art Deco vase planter, and it's going to date to the 30s. It has sort of an eggshell finish. Pretty colors, some flowers on the front. There's a couple little glazed skips there and a little bit of roughness around one corner here, which is not really any big deal. Can you see it? It has a geometric handles here, fins on either side, and a geometric design on the back. So completely unmarked. One of the American pottery companies. Again, probably 29 cents at Woolworths in the 30s. What am I gonna do? Woo! All right. Now, I forget what I paid for this, but it wasn't much. Pressed glass salt and pepper caddy. I've got to measure this so that you can figure out if your salt and peppers will fit down into those little cycles right there. It's a little unusual to find it in crystal. I usually see these in green and pink and that kind of thing. No chips or any damage on it. I don't have a salt and pepper shaker that'll fit in that. Else I'd keep it, probably. Or else I would keep it. Did I say else I'd keep it? I guess you can say that. Now this, I haven't had a chance to look it up, but you saw me find this in the thrift shop the other day, and I love it. When you see a Depression era plate this big, that's got the circular indentation there, as if a teacup would sit there, they're almost always underplates for cheese and cracker sets. And the cheese compote that sits here, they get separated. Okay. Will I ever be able to find the cheese compote to put back on this? Probably not. But look at, it's usually platinum here. This is a platinum overlay, which is on the top. And what they did with this plate is on the back they engraved these stars, and then they put the black paint on there, and so from the front you get this really neat 3D effect. And it looks so much better in person. You really cannot, I don't think, can appreciate it on camera. But maybe you can. I don't know if you can appreciate it or not, if you can really see it. And my background here is very busy. So, nice. I would put this on the floor, but I'll end up stepping on it. So let's put it right back where, no, not yet. Hazel Atlas Ritz Blue Aurora plates. We already saw those and talked about them. The 1930s Hostess Tray, which could have a toaster on it, usually a Deco coffee pot and cream and sugar, or sometimes a cocktail shaker and cocktail glasses. Very 1930s, and we did look at that one. All of the glass, many of the American glass companies made black glass pedestals. It was very popular in the 1920s and 30s to have these glass pedestals and to have vases and things on top of them. It elevates them, and it adds an extra bit of, you know, panache. I love pronouncing things in very creative ways. Anyway, so a black pedestal, Westmoreland, Fenton, New Martinsville, everybody made these. And I probably have 10 of them. I buy them every time I see them. Look at this. Look at these. I was in the Goodwill in Burlington, New Jersey, which is an old historic town. And I couldn't believe it when I saw these. I knew they were good. I couldn't remember who manufactured them. It was bugging me. But they were $4.99 each. Yeah? Or $3.99 each, something like that. And I bought both of them. Take a look at that. Now I'm gonna put one down so I can show them to you. Do you know what they are? They are not Anchor Hocking Lotus Leaf. Yes, Hocking made the Lotus Leaf plates in peach luster, in jadeite. They had fired on colors in Vitroc. This is glass, heavy glass. And it's been given that thick, sort of waxy enamel. And you know what I mean. You've been collecting this glass for a while. When you feel it, I'm not talking about the oily feeling of reproduction depression glass. That's a different feel. This is why you can't Google and Pinterest everything. You gotta get out there and rub stuff. So a lot of the depression, some of the reproduction, like cobalt blue depression glass, feels slick, slimy, oily. This glass has a waxy feel to it. It's different, the texture. But anyway, so pastel yellow, blue on all the little tips here. It looks like sort of a clam broth glass, but it's clear glass that's been given this effect. And then you've got these lotus leaf bowls that go with it. They are Westmoreland and glass. And they made several variations. Now sometimes you'll see just one by itself referred to as a mayonnaise set. We know what mayonnaise sets are. They were very common, and you could use one as a mayonnaise set. Just stick a ladle in it. But they were also sold as small dessert sets. Now I only have 2. I'm holding on to these, and hopefully I'm going to be able to find 2 more and actually have a small dessert set. These are going to date from about, they're close to 100 years old. So we'll say like 1920 to 1930, somewhere in there, a 1930s, 20s to early 30s era. on this Westmoreland glass. No damage on these. I couldn't believe it when I found these in that Burlington Goodwill. So this is probably my favorite. This, you will see some of these. It's hard to find it with this color combination. Sometimes it's clear glass, or I'm sorry, sometimes it is colored glass, such as pink depression, and sometimes there are other enamel painted effects. You know, the way Indiana used to do its modern classic glass, you could get all kinds of painted effects. So it's not going to be too easy to find this pink and white and blue, but I'm going to do my best because I'd like to get 2 more of those. Hairpin is the pattern. It's made by Hazel Atlas and it's in an amethyst color. It's a mid-depression, late depression pattern. Newport is the name they gave it. Collectors call it Hairpin. There's the platter, a serving platter. And I've got 2 big vegetable bowls also in the amethyst glass with that hairpin pattern on it. So all 3 of those are going to go together in one auction. I also have this black glass vase, which is really black. You don't see any amethyst when you hold it up. So any number of companies, again, it's enormously popular. Became enormously popular right around 1930. Ooh, I gotta show you that. Okay, let's do this. I've got 4 big, heavy grill plates in green glass. Yes, there's uranium. Yes, they glow. Yes, it's okay to eat off of them. No chips, no cracks, no scratches, and no roughness on the ribs on these grills, which usually you get that roughness from stacking them. Now, the one thing about grill plates, this extra glass makes them heavy. These are in the ballerina pattern or cameo, and I've been finding a lot of that lately. We can see the little cameo. In the cameo, the little ballerina girl is dancing, and she has removed an item of her clothing. Either that or she's got, what has she got? Well, it's kind of hard to tell if she's got clothes on or not. She might just be dancing with a scarf. Anyway, that'll give Uncle Henry something to do. If he gets bored with the conversation next Thanksgiving, ask him if he can find the naked lady on his plate. I got 4 of those. You can only have 3 things: 1 pork chop, green beans, and mashed potatoes, and they don't touch. More green. I have 6 of these tumblers for probably the breakfast juice tumblers. These are either going to be now they're not marked, but these are either going to be a Hazel Atlas, a Federal, an Anchor Hocking. Yeah, it's one of those companies. And then I've got 4 more. Also green depression. They glow. Yes, you can drink out of them. No chips or cracks on any of these. These have a ribbed optic effect, and I don't know how well you can see the difference in the colors. This, although again, with my lighting in here and the way your lighting is at your house, you might not be able to see, but this is more of a Coke bottle green, and this is more of a traditional green. Not sure which company made these. None of them are marked. So nice to find 8 tumblers here, all in this green, with no chips or cracks on anything. We're all familiar with the moonstone pattern by Hocking. There's a nice moonstone dish. That's not Fenton's Hobnail Opalescent, it's the Hocking Moonstone. And then the last thing to show you. If you keep your eye on the community page, you see little pop-ups now and then. I got this bad boy, and it was a hot mess. It needed cleaning, of course, and restoration, and I worked on it for quite some time. This is the 1930s Toastmaster model. I think it's 1B8, I don't remember. And it is a beauty, and it is fantastic. Let's get it to where you can see it. A great example of a chrome Art Deco toaster. Did it look like this when I got it? No. Now, I showed you a picture of a really cruddy waffle iron a few days ago, and I said, no way. Now, some of you said, oh, come on, just a little bit of elbow grease and it'll be just like new. Well, let me tell you what. I learned my lesson years ago. Sometimes it is just not worth it. There's nothing nastier and more difficult to clean than somebody's 80-year-old baked on, cooked on, nasty cooking residue covered in nicotine and sticky grease and dust. Ugh. And, you know, unless you sandblast it. But this one, so when I buy these, I try to find them in relatively good condition. So this one it did need a lot of it did need cleaning, and I needed to take it apart, which I did. I took it all apart, cleaned it inside and out, oiled it, and it is ready to go. This is one of the toasters that has the tick-tock clock mechanism in it. And you can adjust the severity of the temperature here. So we have light toast and dark toast by turning this little knob right here. And they also made this in a one slice model. Who wants just to make one slice, right? But this is the two slice model, and we're gonna put our bread in and push down, and we get this wonderful, can you hear that? Yeah? And then you anxiously wait. That is a comforting sound. The tick-tock of the toaster and the bubbling of the percolator, nothing like it. So in a moment, the toast will be finished. See, I slowed it down. And I sped it up. And when the clock mechanism has finished doing what it's doing, this will pop up and your toast will jump right out of there. So 1930s chrome toaster in working condition, ready for you to use in your kitchens if you'd like. If you're trying to create that sort of deco effect in your kitchen, cord is just fine, no problems with that. But again, as with any electronic items, don't leave antique electronic appliances unattended or plugged in. Plug them in, use them, and then unplug them. I think that covers everything. I cannot believe these. All right, so I think that might be it for today's thrift haul. None of it is listed yet in the old curiosity shop. I don't know if I'm gonna get to it this afternoon. I've got plans this evening, and I think I'm headed out of town, possibly over the weekend, or at least for a day, to do some shopping with Vinny of Vintage Vinny. That was the toaster. We are going to be exploring the Ephrata area. You know, I was just in Lancaster a while ago and did a 3-part series there. I think Vinny is going to be there for a few days. I'm probably going to join him for one day and shop in the Ephrata, Lancaster, Adamstown area. We might do that on sometime over the weekend. So I will try to get these things listed, and within the next 48 hours, everything that you see here, except these, now don't get mad at me, I'm going to keep these for a little while. But everything else that you see here will be listed in the old curiosity shop. So check back tomorrow and the next day. You can also subscribe to the store. It doesn't cost you anything, and I don't get your name and number and address or anything. by subscribing to the store. You go to the eBay store and you subscribe to the store, and you can click notifications so that anytime I list something, you'll get a notification of that. You don't have to have those notifications on. I know I get annoyed every time I go buy a pair of pants and I want my email address so they can tell me every day that pants are on sale. Don't worry about that. I don't send out junk mail, emails. You can either turn the notification on or off if you decide to subscribe to the eBay store. That way you won't have to like keep checking it. Gee, I wonder when he's gonna put that blasted toaster on there. You'll just get a notice if you subscribe. Okay, also, if you haven't subscribed to the Old Curiosity Shop, that would be great. It's 29 minutes and 30 some seconds, a half an hour. Ooh, I talked too much about all of this stuff, but it's fun to talk about. When I come back next time, I'm gonna tell you about this weird little tumbler here that has an interesting name on the bottom of it. That's it. I'll be back soon. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop saying, wait for the cat. So long for now.